in essence. Birthright. Birthright on Normandy Beach. This is Breakout, a forward movement where unshadowed men scramble ahead with burdens on their backs, death in their ears, the scream of engines and acid in the air, no reverse. War washes away all colors. Yesterday, he was 21, one soldier among thousands with a script but no tapestry. He drives truck through a man-made hell of jeeps and tanks that rock and plow through sand, stone, explosions, seek release from the ground that grows no seed. His was a black and white war, his brother's survival far more important than one more fight to chase evil back to its cauldron. In days, the Breakout closes a loop in time, he gets to go home. From this history, you arrive, a daughter, decades later, a planted seed, flowered life of survival, safely picking nature shells across a brightly colored beach.
You could have one short call.
You stood up, so I thought I was doing.
That means 2 minutes. Oh.
All right. Here's another art poetical. Ars poetic. Preface as ars poetica. A reader once said that I start my poems with too much introduction, as if it were a story that begins as useless weight for the reader to carry while she wanders through my words. I suppose my goal is to set the scene, the colors of the leaves on the hill, fog rising above the river valley, a train curling around the ridge, a guess on the contents of the boxcars, a couple eating dinner in the house at the base of the mountain. Before I know it, I've lost not just my reader, but the whole point of the poem. It is already 3 stanzas long with no rhyme, no clear line breaks, no poetic form to hold the structure intact. I start over, taking our baffled reader straight to the middle of a conversation. If only I could remember what I was thinking about those folks arguing in their dining room, knives waving dangerously over the meatloaf, while I tapped my pen impatiently against my half-empty journal.
Some Hawthorne phrases buried in the dash between dates and the crease of green. Wonderful. I have a little time for Q&A. Does anybody have a cue you'd like to add?
Yeah, hi. To our memoirist, or to all of you, perhaps. So,
You're the memoirist.
Yes.
there you go.
And I just remind the authors, please answer your questions up here so the camera will see you. Okay, so
I'm a writer by trade and training with television and radio, and ventured to write a memoir about a crazy upbringing. It's kind of my 6-word memoir is lived my mother's drama, survived anyway. So that's my memoir in short. I could just maybe publish that and be done with it, but it's 300, 400 pages otherwise. But my question is, embarking on this, just to describe, are you all published, self-published, published by one of the 5 big publishers? Because I want to give it a go that way. Once upon a time, you wrote a query letter to a zillion agents, and maybe that was it. And now you have to have a full-blown social media. I don't know. My question is, what is that journey? Maybe first in 6 words and otherwise.
Well, 6 words won't answer it. Basically, of the 3 books that are published, 2 are by traditional publishers, 1 I self-published. looking at it right now, because I'm quite friendly with the H. John Updike's agent, his estate in Hershey, so I can give you the latest information on that. The first thing people will ask is, what's your platform? So how many followers do you have? 500,000? And so my guess is that for somebody who's just starting to write, unless you're extraordinarily lucky or brilliant, if you want that book to see print, you might just well self-publish it. And my guess is that this one, I'd probably give it away in Chautauqua in hopes that people would like it and perhaps refer the book or other books. But to hope for a traditional publisher without a big platform, I would say forget it.
I could drum up the big platform, but.
Yeah.
So the one that wasn't, the one that you self-published, is that your memoir? Is that what you're saying?
No, the memoir was in Jade Phoenix. They're both traditionally published. But in fact, I messed it up in the United States with Jade Phoenix by being too stupid. So it was only traditionally published when the major publisher of English books in Taiwan bought the rights for a fairly small amount. It didn't pay the rent, but it actually sold some copies. So that's where it is. I hate to be discouraging, but I think that's the reality of publishing today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
Unless there's another question. There's another question.
Well, I'll just add the third alternative is hybrid publishing, where you do pay a relatively small fee and a publisher who does believe in the quality of your work edits it, prints it, and even promotes it some. So not all the burden is on you. So there are some hybrid publishers out there. Karen, you have something.
Well, my first novel, which is called Shadows on the Heath, which is a Wuthering Heights kind of piece, I spent about 2 years looking for an agent because the publishers won't take anything without an agent first. It's kind of like trying to be an actor. So you have to have the agent before you can even have an audition. I found one publisher that I later learned was only going to put it on Amazon. So what was the point? So I ended up self-publishing that, and then my second novel, I spent 1.5 years looking for an agent and said, I'm just going to self-publish. I got lots of nice rejections that were like, well, this sounds really great, but I have too many other things that are almost the same. So thank you, goodbye, kind of. So it's up to you how much time you want to spend looking for an agent, I would say.
One question, well, let's see if there are any other questions from the audience. This one, the question of point of view. You say he, she, I, and if you do say I, is the I you, or have you taken on a persona or a character? So point of view.
From a poet's point of view, the I is the author. You're doing things in first person. I belong to a writers group where we critique each other's work. And one of the first things you'll hear from someone is you change your point of view twice during that writing. And it could be a book, could be an essay, and it could be a poem. But it is hard sometimes I always do it. If I'm going to use I, it's me.
You probably could tell from what I read in Weymouth House. that it is first person from Rosalie's point of view, but she said I was 9 years old, and so it is written first person. The book I'm working on now, I decided I'm going totally omniscient narrator, so that I can tell you information that has happened, even if the character hasn't been there. Because the issue with first person is, they can't describe something to you unless they've been there already and seen it, so.
Actually, Two Musicians was inspired by Barbara Kingsolver's Poisonwood Bible, fantastically successful book with multiple points of view of each of the characters of this crazy missionary's family. So I took that idea, and Two Musicians and the Wife isn't the story is taken in turn by 3 different points of view. And the reason I take your time to answer this is that I did have an agent for this and came back that the publisher would really be interested in this story, but they want you to write it from an omniscient point of view. And once again, I said, hey, this is my work. This is the way I feel it. This is the way I wrote it. And that's why it ended up being self-published.
I will add a different perspective if I may be so bold. One, as an English teacher, we very often caution our students not to say the poet feels, but the speaker in the poem. Now, it's true, right, mostly autobiographical poems, but people who know me might disagree and say that didn't really happen, or that's just one side of you, that's not really you. So that point of view, little asterisk. Or there are obviously persona poems or persona songs. You know, Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA, is not talking about himself, okay? Even though he's saying I, that type of thing. Well, thank you. Let's give another round of applause. Just want to mention a few things. Usually at this point, I say, please join us next week for the office hour. Today I'll say, please join us next year for the office hour. We tried to do a video of today's reading. You can check out the Friends of the Chicago Writers Center channel on YouTube and see. But right after you read your poem about running the stoplight, it's been better into the Wi-Fi stopped and done. So I'm hoping we can salvage things. Please consider joining the Friends, sponsors all these events. And the one thing that's not an event, I mean to mention, is the Friends of the Chicago Writers Center also sponsor 2 summer scholars to take writing courses. Summer scholars are promising but disadvantaged junior and community college students that spend a week here. And we wanted to open the doors to the Writers Center for them. Anyway, I think that's all the selling I will do. Thank you very much for coming. Take care. Bye-bye. I need to stop this. Okay. Then I'll be there.
Yeah, well, so, I started noticing 2 years back.
The book's up here if anybody wants it. I don't feel like hearing them.
Online.
Yeah.